Okay, China today. Just a bit of update for last week, and so last week we were talking about agriculture, and here is another innovation from China. We see that there are a lot of boxes floating on a pond, and we also see that there are boats inside. So let's zoom in. Well, the boxes plants with vegetables, and yeah, the boxes are planted with vegetables. So obviously these floating boxes are used to produce some vegetables. The fertilizer come from the fish growing in the pond. So the pond becomes dual use, both as a pond for farming fish, at the same time also using the plant to clean the water and grow the plants. So that's another example of innovation from China about agriculture. So today let's go back into our main topic, which is about the renewable energy. By the end of last year, the China's total installed capacity is about 1.06 billion kilowatts, which represent about 44.8% of the total installed power generation capacity. Now, there is a big difference here. This is measured using kilowatts, which is not energy. And we also know that renewable energy does not produce energy 24 hours around the clock. So when it represents 44.8% of total installed generation capacity, but the actual electricity generated will probably have to divide by, let's say, 3. So it will be about, say, 15% of the energy, because renewable energy only operates when the sun is shining or the wind is blowing and so forth. So it's not 24 by 7. So in order to actually achieve a complete renewable energy capacity, probably you are looking at an installed capacity of twice to 3 times the necessary generation. Of course, we also need a storage. We also see that the wind farms and photovoltaic stations both saw a capacity exceeding 300 million watts, according to the data. So in the above, you're talking about 1.06 billion. And in there, the wind farm about 300 million, the photovoltaic about 300 million. So there is still another 400 million. What account for that 400 million is hydroelectricity. In 2021, China generated 2.48 trillion kilowatts. So that you see that the installed capacity is only 1.06. The generated is 2.48 trillion kilowatt hour. So if we take the number at the top, this number, multiply it by 364, which is 1 year, 365, and then multiply by 34, then you will come up with a certain number of trillion kilowatt hour. But again, that is only theoretical. Unless the wind is blowing or the sun is shining, it is not generating that much. So the information here is a bit misleading. So that's why I need to explain. And China's energy consumption also increases, but the rate of increase have slowed down. The 10 years average is 3.8. Last year is 2.1%. But of course, there is a catch-22 here. We remember last year was the year of COVID. Of course, the year of COVID is 2020. Then in 2021, the COVID still continues, although China has already recovered from the COVID because it had the zero tolerance strategy. So the economy is going up, and it is also manufacturing. But still, this is not a regular year in a certain sense. The China's energy mix continues to shift to a greener one. The coal is still at 57% compared to 58% in 2019. So China is trying to shut down the coal. Replacing coal is usually natural gas, so which is another non-renewable source anyway. So it will take a while before China can reach the peak of carbon, which they projected to be in 2030, and then they will achieve a 0% in 2060. The rest of the world is probably able to achieve the carbon neutral in 2050. It will take China about another 10 years before they can achieve that. But that is the expectation. Whether they can do better than that, we don't know. We really hope China can do better than what they promised. Although the share of coal had decreased, but we also see the demand of coal itself increased a little bit because of the growth in their energy consumption. So yes, percentage-wise is decreasing, but in terms of absolute number, the amount of coal still increased slightly, 0.3%. The problem with renewable energy is that, for example, hydroelectric energy, they get online in steps. They may be take them 5 years, 10 years to build a hydroelectric dam. So for 10 years, we see nothing. But suddenly, when the dam, the hydropower generation is switched on, then we will see a sudden jump in hydro electricity. China also imports quite a bit of coal as well. Here is an overall summary. Despite the shock of the COVID-19, natural gas consumption grew by 6.9% against a 2.3% decline in the world. The renewable consumption grew by 15% in 2020, accounting for up to 25% of the global renewable demands and 36% of the global growth. So China is growing very fast in terms of renewable energy. But if we consider China's renewable energy per capita, it is far below because China has just too large population. So when you divide this by population, then China's renewable energy is, I think, is around in about position 20 something in the world. But in terms of the absolute number of renewable energy, then China leads the world by a large margin. But again, China has a very large population. China nuclear power generation also increased by 4.6% compared with a decline in global nuclear power generation, especially after the Japan's nuclear power meltdown. Again, nuclear power generation will be put into service by steps. It takes 10 years to build a nuclear power plant, and then during that time, there will be no increase in nuclear power generation. But when it is switched on, then you will see a big increase. So that is the two major growth on renewable energy which is not gradual. It takes steps, and the step is talking about 5 years, 10 years. So here is a summary of this one. 2.1% growth in primary energy consumption. And it is made by mostly natural gas consumption increase, part a little bit by the growth of new renewable energy. And China's carbon dioxide emission is still growing. We hope that they can decrease quickly. So this is another look at this renewable energy. Renewable energy represents 28% of the actual consumption. This is in terawatt hour. And then hydro is very important, 16%. The rest is minuscule compared with the other things. So these two together is about 12% here. So not much to see. Another look here, we see that the hydro typically jumps step by step. And lately, we haven't seen a lot of hydro getting online, but we are expecting a number of hydro projects finishing in the next 5 years. So we probably will see Chinese hydro jumping up again later on in this decade. The green is solar energy. Solar energy is also increasing. And then wind. Wind is actually taking a much faster growth than solar in China. But solar energy has the advantage of benefiting from the semiconductor Moore's law. Is that Moore's law? Doubling in capacity every 18 months, while price drop also in 18 months. This is the annual addition of renewable generation capacity in China on year. 2019 is not a good year, and then it rebounds in 2020, and 2021 doesn't catch up with 2020. Probably the 2020 account for some of those in 2019. So some growth which should be in 2019 is actually shifted to 2020, and hence 2020 seems to be particularly high. I think the trend is still a uprising trend anyway. No, this is not a video. In terms of this, the growth, the darker color is 2021, and the 2011. Wow, 2011. And then the green is 2012. This is the investment, the amount of money poured into the renewable energy sector. And I think in 2015-16, there's another large investment boost based on the 13th 5-year plan. The 14th 5-year plan covers 2021 to 2025. We are now in the 14th 5-year plan. Sorry. And in the 14 FYP stand for 5-year plan. A 5-year plan, and they issued the 1+N policy. One is the climate, N is different ways of achieving the one pledge to decrease carbon dioxide.
没有吧，反正这药在这儿呢，这成本没错，肯定没错，肯定没错。
Okay, the national climate, the pledge is that what was that? Aim for a 1,200 gigawatts of wind and solar power by 2030. For 25% of the energy consumption to be met by non-fossil fuels by 2030. and you want to peak the carbon dioxide by 2030, and then achieve carbon neutral in 2060. So this is the 5-year plan. 5-year plan contribute to this pledge. So the actual amount of fossil releasing of the carbon dioxide, this is a million tons of coal equivalent. So in 2020, non-fossil fuel share is 15.8% in terms of coal equivalent. By 2025, 20%, by the national target will be 25%. Renewable energy output will grow from 680 million tons of coal equivalent to 1,000 million tons. And then we'll add a wind capacity of 1,200 gigawatts. So these are some of the data. And historically, China have been able to achieve its goals better than forecast. The blue line is the target, and the red line is the actual result. So China has been doing quite well in terms of meeting its target. Okay, here is the countries that generate most solar energy in the world. Okay, let's see. Can I jump forward? Oh, come on. Okay, nothing happens in the rest of the world except US and United States in 1989. Then comes Spain, Italy, and Portugal, and then China first appeared in 1990s. For a while, Australia is doing very well, given our size of our economy. So in the 1990s, we are doing very well compared with the rest of the world. I think this is the start of our solar panel on the roof projects. So a lot of people in Australia is starting to put solar panel on the roof. So we are doing quite well in the 90s. China joined the WTO in 2001. So this is before China joining the WTO. Japan is moving always very fast. And China is now trying to catch up. Germany started its project of installing solar panels everywhere. So at that time, most of the solar panel production is in Germany. China has now joined the WTO. Germany has overtaken United States, Australia overtaken China. By 2008, China's pollution is very bad. 2008 is the year when China hosts its Beijing Summer Olympics. People are complaining about the poor air quality in China, and China government started to take notes. And in their, I think this one is the 12th 5-year plan. They started to put in effort to improve the environment in China, and the efforts started to produce using solar energy. But at that time, China still haven't caught up with the technology, so its growth is not as quickly. Now, some company in China has learned some technology. They are now able to manufacture solar panels by themselves. So we will see China catching on very quickly to everybody. So by 2016, China is already the world's largest solar energy producer. And then China will not look back. The gap is getting bigger and bigger by the year. This is 2020 now. We see that China already produced more than the next 2 to 3 countries. So by 2021, China produced 327 thousand trillion watt hour, whereas United States half. Japan, another half of United States, India following as well. So we see that. What about wind energy? Let's see.
当然就这个你就关了就行。
Wind energy, we see approximately the same story. 98 something, China nowhere to be seen. And Denmark is leading. Denmark has always been using wind energy anyway. So then come Canada. Sweden coming up, Canada, Netherlands, and Germany. China is not on this in a scope at the moment. Here coming America suddenly. China is at the very bottom, slowly climbing up.
Sensor wash, general. Pre-wash 这种的，这看过。126 sensor wash， 不是，它有个感知的那种，提示到他们就可以过水。对啊，不行。OK， 那你看这个 normal 是2个小时45分钟，这是12分钟，这太多了。那就只有这个，不是，那就只有这个，就这个，好吧？
competition between China and United Kingdom for the four positions.
那我一吹那就行了。
不是，等一会儿你这个，我不知道这怎么。
India is coming in, China is dropping back.
哟，怎么还开着呢？
不是你给关了它，我就说你这关了。
1998 come the Asia financial crisis. Okay, 2001, China joined the WTO. China technology is still not domestic, so the growth is slow. These are the years where we see the environment in China deteriorating very fast. In 2008, the Olympic years, Chinese citizens realized that their air quality is very bad and then start pushing the government to do something. Now the same story here. China is developing its own domestic technology, and once the technology is developed, then we can accelerate production and installation of wind turbines. So it is catching up to the United States now. Now, China overtakes the United States in 2016. Then the gap started to increase. Everybody seems to falling behind, but actually it was China moving forward too fast. Approximately same story. China lead by America almost by 40%. America leads Germany by almost 2 times, and then Germany leads Brazil by about 40% and so forth. So China's capacity is the next 3 or 4 together. Hydropower. China is in the lower part here. It is 1968. At that time, we still have the USSR. Okay, Canada and United States, but eventually United States win over, having quite a lead. China is catching up now. This is the 1980s. Remember, Mao Zedong has already dead. Here comes the 1989 Tiananmen Square. Okay, China forcing ahead with its domestic technology in building dams and hydroelectric generators and so forth. And then we'll see China's hydroelectricity generation push on very quickly. At 2005, China overtook the world, becomes number one, and now the gap is increasing. China's installed capacity is already 3 times Canada now. Okay, by 2018, China is already 3 times Brazil. So what is driving all this? Now, we noticed that China catch up in terms of renewable energy after the 2008 Beijing Olympics, when citizens complain about the air quality, and then the Chinese government put in effort and trying to push forward. And this is the solar panel with.
Climate change is a serious issue for humans in this century. It is necessary to achieve rapid and far-reaching transformations in the energy industry for our future generations. According to the report from United Nations Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, by 2030, global net anthropogenic carbon dioxide emissions need to be reduced by about 45% compared to 2010 levels. Increasing the use of clean energy, boosting the utilization efficiency of resources and energy, and developing a greener energy infrastructure are fundamental to responding to the energy transformation and climate change. Hi, I'm Shahan. Today, let's have a tour of this agriculture PV plant together. This PV plant is located in Guangzhou, China, and it is now the largest single-site utility-scale PV power plant in Guangdong Province. This PV plant covering dozens of hills and with a total capacity of 200 megawatts, and it's installed with Huawei Smart String Inverter. It also consists of 410 watts and 405 watts monocrystalline PV modules. They are installed in 2 rows vertically, and each string has 28 panels in series cabled in C shape. To make a full use of the land resources bestowed by nature, Guangzhou Development Group has chosen Huawei Smart PV Solutions to build a solar power system over the plantation. Started from October 2019, it only took 82 days to build entire PV plant. Before the PV plant was constructed, it was a rocky desertification area that was overgrown with Kogan grass. Now, as you can see, the PV panel are installed up to about 2 meters high and leave enough space to grow jade bamboo, onion, pumpkin, etc. Do you know that agriculture PV plant can also provide benefits to boost food production, water saving, and efficiency of electricity production? The solar power plant can efficiently reduce land moisture evaporation by 30 to 40%. Here is Huawei Sun 2175 KTL Smart String Inverter, which is an idea for utility-scale PV plant with an efficient rate up to 99.02%. With 9 MPPT and IP66 design, as we know, the multi-MPPT can help to achieve higher yields, and IP66 means water and dust proof. It's already added up a big difference on power yields and safety assurance. Another main component is a smart logger. It's a data acquisition system, and each one could connect up to 80 inverters. This component collects all the inverters' data with Huawei M-Bus broadband power line communication technology. All the data can be transmitted directly over power line to achieve stronger interference immunity and higher transmission reliability. As we all know, RS-485 cable is easier to cause damage in this severe weather condition. On top of that, at this hilly area, it is extremely difficult to install RS-485 cables, which are hard to maintain. Huawei could simply replace RS-485 with M-Bus technology, which are not only fast in terms of transitions, but also reliable and save on the investment and O&M cost too. This mountain photovoltaic project is widely.
Okay, we see that it can improve using communication technology to improve efficiency. And this is another project now being launched in some child county level projects, in which rooftop solar panels are installed in private homes, just like what we do here in Australia. But instead, the funding of the panels have 2 alternatives. Either you rent the roof to a company so that they will install the solar panel on your roof. Then you have to pay for the electricity generated by the solar panel for your own use at normal utility cost price. That means you're just renting the roof to the solar panel, so you don't take responsibility about what is installed. That's one way. The other way is the owner of the buildings own the solar panel, either through a government provided zero interest loan, or they pay for it outright. Then they can earn the money generated by the solar panels when electricity is delivered to the utility. So there are two ways to finance these solar panels. The government is trying to work out which is a better way, and they are working out through trial projects. On a county level, then a service station can be installed in the county to provide the local people with support if the solar panels have any problems or everything else. The next one is about thermal solar farm. The idea that solar panels is that it depends on whether there's sunshine. When there's no sunshine, there's no power generated. So how to provide a base load is one of the question. This one using a thermal solar farm.
In China, almost 10 trillion kilowatts of power hit the ground every second. That's more than 3 times the output of all the power plants in the world. And here in the vast Gobi Desert in Gansu province, northwest China, they're trying to capture just a slice of that and put it to good use. What you're seeing around me was built in under 2 years. They started construction in 2016 and connected it to the grid in 2018, and ever since then it's been in use. Now that beaming light source at the end of the road, brighter than the sun, we're going to learn a lot more about that later in the video, so make sure you stick around to the end. Now this should give you a little bit of a sense of the scale of these things. They are absolutely enormous. And there are 12,000 of them in this solar farm. Literally the bottom of this is level with my head. When I saw pictures, I imagined it was going to be like a similar size to me if I put my arms out. But hopefully you can really understand how big they are when I stand next to it. I had to get my sunglasses on because you can barely look at that thing. It's so bright. Seriously, with stuff like this, I'm like a kid in a sweet shop. This is like a once in a lifetime opportunity to see something like this. And that's what we're bringing to you on the Barrett channel. So if that ain't enough for a subscription, I don't know what is. It's absolutely free. Click that button down below so you don't miss out on all of our China content. Now, each of these 12,000 heliostats behind me consist of 35 3.3 square meter panels. In total, that's a reflecting surface of 1.4 million meters squared. That's a third of the size of New York City's Central Park. Okay, so we're about to ask the expert some questions to further understand this solar panel farm. But here I'm with Rachel, who goes by the name of Miss Wow online.
Yeah, hi everybody. This is Miss Wow, and I'm doing technology. But now we really want to know that how does all the solar panels track the sound throughout the day? Because they said that it can move every 10 seconds.
Yeah, they're moving all the time, but we'll let the expert explain it. And yeah, we're just waiting for him to come over and we'll ask him a few questions.
Yes.
So as me and Miss Wow are not experts on this solar farm, we're lucky enough to be joined by Mr. Hui, who's going to educate us a bit more about it. So you've got the first question?
Yeah, my question is, I got a very curious question. Is that how to design a smart algorithm that can make all the solar panels track the sound throughout the day and focus all the lights onto the tip of the tall tower?
因为每天太阳的位置是能够计算出来的，我们有一套精密的计算软件，能够每天的把太阳的位置计算出来，然后通过软件发送给每台定时镜的控制器，控制器呢，然后就能够把控制每台定时镜旋转的角度，把阳光反射到吸热器的受热面，然后就能收集能量。
I know of traditional solar panel farms, but this one is a thermal solar panel farm. So what's the difference?
光伏发电呢，主要是利用了太阳能光伏板的光生伏打效应。它呢就是直接是把光转换成电了。光热发电呢是主要是有一套储热的系统，它利用这套储热系统呢，能够克服太阳能的时空的不连续性和不稳定性，持续的稳定的输出电力。这部分电力呢，并且是可以调节的，既能够承担电网的基本负荷，也能够承担调峰的作用。是一种电网相对友好型的电源。
Okay, now I will stop here for this one. They are using a molten salt. So the very hot temperature at the top of the tower will melt some salt, and the melting point is around 500 degrees Celsius. This very hot salt is stored in the ground, and then it will be used as an energy source to drive gas turbines. And therefore, this thermal solar farm can produce electricity 24 hours a day. This one is another look of the gigantic nature of that solar farm. I don't know whether this is the same plant or not. It doesn't look like the same plant, same solar thermal plants. We see their installations around the bottom of the tower, and some of these are for storage of the molten salts. The others is for the turbines generating electricity and so forth. Now, besides solar, we also can build dams for the hydroelectricity. This is one of the largest dams in the world. Okay, this one is the Bartol hydro stem. It will be one of the largest dam in the world. Its installed capacity is just slightly smaller than the Great Gorge Dam. Okay, and then we should be on which one? This one? Yeah, we see that. Wind farm.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the very last episode of Tides of Change Season 3. Can you believe it?
No!
I'm Li Jianhua from CGTN.
And I'm Talvin from CGTN. Currently, we are in Nantong City in Jiangsu Province, which is located on China's east coastline. And what's special about it is it owns China's biggest wind farm by capacity.
这个风电港的它主要作用呢，就是连接我们陆上生产厂家跟这个海上机位、海上的这个建设厂当中的一个桥梁的作用。
So from here, we can see the vast expanse of water over there, and there's some ships are docking here, waiting to be loaded. All right, we're in the middle of the sea. I'm Zhou Yunfei.
Hi guys, I'm Yang Xinmeng. We are on a wind farm booster station by one of the companies here. It's called China Huaneng. Electricity will come through these cables from under the sea, and it comes all the way up to the second floor of these booster stations, and it will be boosted there, the voltage, and then will be transmitted to the shore.
就是35千伏开关室，它就是我们从海上风机组，然后汇流到这边来，它通过这个开关进行控制。
Whoa, this looks gigantic.
这边是我们压测，在目前这边还是35千伏。然后我们到最侧铁杆那边就是升压到高压。
35,000 watt is considered as the low voltage.
And thank you so much. Thank you guys so much for joining us, for following.
Okay, we see that, and then now another way necessary in terms of moving to renewable energy is to have storage of the energy generated, but but wasn't used. And then when there's demand without the sun or the wind, then we need to produce. So one of the best way to do this is using so-called pumped hydro. So at the top of the mountain, you have a large water storage. the water storage can increase in volume when there is excess energy produced by renewable energy, and so water is being pumped up to this high level. But when the demand is high, then the water from this can be used to drive the turbine in order to produce energy for. So this way of storing energy is much better than using a battery, because battery cannot store the same amount of energy effectively. Another way to store energy using batteries is actually using your battery of your electric motor vehicles. So there's another way of storing energy distributed throughout the country, throughout each household. If people can convert their car into EV, electrical car, and the battery on your EV becomes a backup battery, probably for your own household, but collectively that will solve a really big problem. Since I mentioned electric vehicle, there's one vehicle I hope I can get one day, and this is this one. It is now ramping up its production, and the first vehicle will be delivered next year, somewhere from California. This particular electric car has all solar panels on the roof. The whole car weighs about 1 ton. It is a 3 wheels, 2 wheels at the front and 1 at the back. It is a very efficient aerodynamic shape, and this seats 2 people. For Tesla, 1 kilowatt hour will provide the vehicle with about 5 kilometers of range. This thing, 1 kilowatt hour will produce about 10 kilometers of range. That means it is about twice as efficient as a Model 3 Tesla. On the top of the vehicle, you can install panels. The roof and the front are provided. Whether you want to install more panels on the tail part, it is optional. This thing will produce about 40 kilometers range a day under the sun. So basically, for people like us not traveling a lot of distance, then basically we will have free traveling for the rest of our life, provided we can get one of these at a reasonable price. At the moment, one of these is estimated to be about $25,000 and hopefully when our government introduce some solar scheme to help us buy vehicles, I'm looking forward to getting one myself. I really like the shape of it. Now, if we are moving towards renewable energy, I don't think we can do it without nuclear energy. Nuclear energy is very important because it will provide a base load, and it is considered carbon neutral when it is running. The problem is whether it can be run safely. So China has developed this. I think is that 2nd generation or 4th generation nuclear power generator, which can provide a much safer operating environment. Failure like the Japan, where the lack of coolant caused the melt of the core. This one won't happen because it's designed to be very safe.
China's second nuclear power generator to use Hualong 1 technology has just launched commercial operations, making another milestone in the commercialization of China's homegrown nuclear technology and one more step toward a low-carbon future. Hualong 1 is one of the world's most advanced nuclear power reactor designs. Each Hualong 1 nuclear generator has an installed capacity of 1.16 million kilowatts and is expected to generate about 10 billion kilowatt hours of electricity every year, enough to meet the power demand of 1 million people. The technology has more than 700 patents and 120 software copyrights, and all of its 411 core parts were designed and manufactured domestically. Its design lifespan is 60 years, and it has 177 reactor cores to be replaced every 18 months. With both active and passive safety features and the double-layer safety shell, the technology meets the highest international safety standards for nuclear power plants. According to the International Energy Agency, the use of nuclear power over the past 50 years has reduced carbon dioxide emissions by over 60 gigatons, nearly 2 years' worth of global energy-related emissions. The Hualong 1 nuclear power reactor design is central to China's goals of hitting carbon peak by 2030 and achieving carbon neutrality by 2060. Compared with coal-fired generators, the electricity generated by a Hualong 1 unit is equivalent to reducing standard coal consumption by 3.12 million tons and carbon dioxide emissions by 8.16 million tons annually, as well as being equal to planting over 70 million trees per year. China's two Hualong 1 units presently in commercial operation are Units 5 and 6 of the Fujian nuclear power plant in southeast Fujian province, which both entered service after January 2021. The Hualong 1 has also gained global recognition with 2 units at Pakistan's Karachi nuclear power plant currently running on the technology. Hualong 1 also qualified for use in the UK in February, making it more competitive on the global stage. With Hualong 1 online, China is now at the global forefront of third-generation nuclear technology.
Finally, one of these favorite topic I like to talk about is thorium-fueled nuclear reactor. The Hualong 1 in the last video used uranium. Uranium is rare, not very common on Earth, but thorium is at least 4 to 10 times more abundant than uranium. And in particular, China has a lot of thorium, and therefore this technology will make China independent on nuclear fuel if it is successful. Oh, sorry. Okay, that is for all for today. I'm sorry we started late because my computer needed rebooting a number of times. So, any question? Please unmute yourself. Yes, please unmute yourself. No? No question. Okay. I hope next week we won't have the same problem. So we'll see you next week then. Bye bye.